What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another Instagram Live, and we are here on this beautiful day. I am still traveling right now, so I have been at a conference, and so if you haven't seen videos of frequency like I've been doing lately, there is a reason. I've been at a conference, so today I am leaving Houston, Texas to get back home. So my flight's about midday. So I thought I'd pop on here to do another Jimmy Rants episode. So thank you so much for joining me. If you've missed what this is and this is brand new to you, I am now doing regular daily videos of a topic in the world of keto that needs to be addressed. And sometimes I'll go off keto topic and do things not related to keto that are also a rant. But we're housing all of these videos. Number one, we're doing them live here on Instagram Live. But if you're watching on a replay, you can watch the replay on Instagram Live for 24 hours. Or most of you are probably watching this on YouTube on the replay as well. And then we're starting a brand new podcast that will have highlights from all of these Jimmy Rants at jimmyrants.com. Okay, that's housekeeping out of the way. Let's talk about today's rant. Because if there is a commonality that I am seeing amongst people who write to me and who interact with me on social media and who just generally talk to me about keto, one of the number one things they said was, well, I tried it for a while. It didn't work for me. It was a failure. I just needed to move on. Okay, so I always have questions back for these people. And generally one of the first questions I ask most people who say that they have failed on their keto, well, how long did you do it? Oh, I was on it for 2 or 3 days and I didn't really see anything. No, that's not good enough. On a ketogenic diet, you don't even see adaptation where you shift from being a sugar burner over to being a fat burner for at least 2 to 4 weeks, at least. And for some people who are a little more resistant, maybe even upwards of 6 to 8 weeks, which is why I often tell people you have to give it upwards of 60 days to really see if it's going to do anything. Then when you do it, make sure you do it well, and we'll talk about that here in a second. But it seems that people have this notion that they should start eating low carb, high fat, and moderate protein, and then suddenly the skies open and everything's just supposed to flood down on them with all these benefits that they hear about with keto. Well, yeah, you get a lot of benefits, but it comes with patience and with time and with doing it day by day by day. You can't do it 2-3 days, even 2-3 weeks, or I would even say maybe even 2-3 months may not be enough. Now, obviously, I'm not saying everybody can and should be doing a ketogenic diet, but I'm saying if you truly want to give keto a try to see how it's working for you, you got to go a few more than a couple of days, weeks, or months. All right, so that's the first kind of theme that I see pretty often when people say they failed on keto. The next question that I generally ask people after I determine and ascertain how long they've been, quote, keto, is, well, what are your ketone levels? So in a previous Jimmy Rants episode, I talked about whether you need to test for ketosis if you want to be keto. And the general gist of what I said was, well, you want to test with blood or breath to at least see where you stand. And then after a while, you don't have to obsess about the numbers. You kind of will check in and see how you are every once in a while, but you don't really need to check as often. Well, some people come to keto and they never check at all. And again, if that's you and you choose to do that, that's perfectly fine. But you can't say, well, keto didn't work for me. And when I ask you whether you were in ketosis or not, and you don't know because you weren't testing, how do we know you were in ketosis to begin with? So that's another thing. And that's a big pet peeve of mine, where people say, well, I tried keto and it didn't work. And I ask about the presence of ketones in their body and they don't know what I'm talking about. They haven't tested. They just kind of ate a few eggs, ate some meat, and ate and did it that way. And that is not doing keto. Yes, it's doing keto, but you don't really know if you've actually dialed it in and given your body time to adapt and what the levels are that you should be looking for. So that's another one where people say they failed on keto. They never really tested for ketosis. So how do you know if keto failed you or if maybe you failed keto, right? So that's a big one as well. If you're just joining us, we are doing another Jimmy Rants episode all about defining what failure means on keto, because I get interactions with people pretty much on a daily basis saying, well, I'm having this problem with keto, thus it's not working. All right, so another thing that people bring up about keto being a failure is I'm not losing weight. And even some of them say I'm gaining weight while eating keto. All right, so this is something I have hammered pretty hard in my work, especially over the past couple of years, is that keto, while very powerful for bringing about weight loss as a side effect of being in nutritional ketosis, it is not the effect that you're looking for. And maybe it is the effect you're looking for, don't get me wrong, but I'm saying the effect that you're looking for with nutritional ketosis isn't necessarily weight loss as the primary marker. It's all the blood health markers that get better. So you're going to see a drop in your triglycerides. You're going to see a drop in your insulin levels. You're going to see a drop in your blood sugar levels, your fasting blood sugar levels. You're going to see an increase in your HDL cholesterol. You're going to see a drop in your small dense LDL particles. All of these signs of great health, a drop in your inflammation markers like HSCRP, and IGF-1 and homocysteine, all of these things get better even if you're not losing weight. And so when people write to me and say, well, I feel great, I've got stabilized mood, I've seen all my blood markers get into line, my doctor's very happy, but I'm not losing weight, so keto failed me. And I'm going, whoa, let's back up. What did you just say? Right before all keto failed you because you didn't lose weight? Oh yeah, all that good stuff? That's good stuff. And you need to celebrate it. And to me, that is not a failure. What I see that as is you're still on your journey. You're still pursuing all of the things that you know you need to do in order to get into a better place in your health. And so if you're pursuing health, guess what happens to your weight? Eventually, you should lose weight. And of course, here's the other bugaboo about weight, using it as a marker. There are so many non-diet things that affect your weight. And so you can't really pin, if you're not losing weight on keto, you can't pin it on the diet always. In fact, I think it's physiologically impossible unless you're just gorging yourself on food. It's physiologically impossible for the diet to be causing weight gain on keto. Now, you guys know I deal with this personally, and I've talked very openly about all the things that I theorize are going on with me. It's a stress-induced thing that can cause belly fat. There's lack of sleep that can cause weight issues. You've got hormonal imbalances. There's just lots and lots and lots of things that can impact your weight. And yet people say, if I don't lose X amount of pounds by X date, then keto has failed. That's unfair. That's unfounded. And I would say you need to get your head screwed on right, because there are better ways to track your health when you're eating keto than just what that stupid number on that lying liar that lies scale is telling you. Okay? All right, what else are people saying they failed? Oh, well, they saw that they compare themselves to others. They saw that a friend or a family member has done it and they've seen X result, whatever the result is. And they expect that it's going to work exactly the same for them. And so they're like, well, wait a minute. Susie, my best friend, she lost weight and came off of her diabetes medications, and she had all these improvements. And I tried it and did exactly the same diet that she did, and I'm not seeing the results that she did. So what's going on? Keto failed me. Not realizing that this whole diet thing is so highly, highly individualized. We're what's called bio-individual. And of course, people want to poo-poo on that and say, well, we're all basically the same, so we should all be able to basically eat the same things and have the same basic results. Well, we've tried that. It's called the Dietary Guidelines for Americans. How'd that work out for us, right? So people got fatter and more heart disease, more diabetes, all of the things that we're trying to reverse with nutrition. And it got worse when we went on a one-size-fits-all diet. And so because we're bio-individual and we each have interesting histories from our genes, also from our nutritional health choices, lots of lifestyle factors, all of those things contribute to why Jimmy Moore's diet doesn't need to be your diet. You've got to figure out, tinker and test, and find what works for you. And so people think because I did the same diet that Jimmy Moore did, the same diet that Susie Q did, and they saw results, that they do that exact diet and it'll give them the exact same results. And that's just not reasonable because of bioindividuality. So that's what we wanted to talk about here today on this Jimmy Rants, defining failure. Hopefully I've given you some things to think about, and let's see what you guys have to say. Welcome in, welcome in. Keto Neogenesis, people can be addicted to failure. It's important to stay supportive, giving factual information with kindness and steer them to thinking of the gains, not the difficulties. Love my keto family. You're so right. And I've seen this time and time and time again as well, where people, they almost are wanting to fail, if that makes any sense at all. And I've never understood that mentality. If you're going to go on some kind of a diet change or a lifestyle change or something really radical in your life from what you were doing to now doing a keto diet, don't you want it to succeed? Don't you want to put yourself in a position? I suppose there are sadistic people out there that want to get on it so they can fail. I don't know. It's kind of a weird mentality if you stop and think about it. But one thing that I have talked to several people at this conference I was at about trying to get their head straight about all this is everything that happens to you on your keto lifestyle is a part of your journey. Because one lady said, well, I had to get off of that keto and then I had to come back to it. And I said, well, what happened? And she said, well, I messed up. I had a meal that I wasn't supposed to. I said, well, why didn't you get right back on it again? Oh, well, I'd already messed up, so therefore I just went ahead and just, it failed me, so I just needed to just go ahead and eat whatever I wanted. I'm like, does that make any sense at all? Here's what happened. You're on a journey, right? And so if you're on a journey, is the journey always up, 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 up? No. A journey has ups and downs and ups and downs. And so I said, you know what? You never left keto. Because when you had that, quote, mess up, that was a part of your keto journey. And if you think of it in that terms, then this continuum of your keto journey will include those times when you have something you're not supposed to have. And what do? You pick yourself up, you dust yourself off, and you get right back on plan again. That's the keto journey. And I'm so tired of this falling off the wagon and all this kind of mantra that's put out there in our culture when it's all the same journey. If you've decided to make better choices in your health and you're doing those things for the most part and you happen to have some dalliance here and there, whether chosen to do that or you just, whatever your reason, you're still on the keto journey. And if you have that mentality, there is no falling off the wagon. You didn't fail on keto, which is what we're talking about in this Jimmy Rants. You got to keep that mindset of you're on your keto journey. Okay, crap, that was a really low valley I just went through. It's time to climb that mountain again. It's going to hurt climbing that mountain, getting off of that valley. But the pay dirt will be, oh my gosh, you'll look back in a few months and go, wow, that was just a blip in the map. I'm sailing now. So I like redefining some of these commonalities that people have regarding diet and health and how they're doing. You didn't fall off the wagon. You're still on your keto journey. All right. Welcome in, you guys. We are talking about defining failure on keto. PBOI says several people jump into keto without doing the research because their friends are doing it. These are the people that I've found who have failed and are the most vocal about keto not working. Grr. Yeah, and I'll even piggyback on that one. And I've seen it with the Atkins diet. I've seen it with paleo. And now I'm seeing it with keto. People say, well, I'm on keto. Oh, yeah, which book did you read? Well, I didn't read a book. I just started eating eggs and bacon and cheese and meats and a few non-starchy vegetables. Okay, those are all great. Good job. But how do you know what to do? How do you know what to track? How do you know what you do when you run into difficulties? Do you have some kind of a guidebook? And most of the time, those people say no. Well, you need to go pick up a copy of my book, Keto Clarity, or some other keto book that's out there that teaches you the basics of it, because you really wouldn't go into a class right now in college, for example, and not read your textbook, right? So if you don't read your textbook, I see my friend Brittany is on here. Brittany, if you didn't read your textbook in the classes that you're taking right now, would you get very far academically? Would you be able to pass the class? Maybe you would because you're super smart, but most people need the textbook so they can learn, so that they can pass and get a good grade and yada yada. Well, think of keto in the same way. Most people, they can't do keto unless they're given a guidance about how to do it. It's why I write so many books. It's why a lot of people out there are providing resources to kind of educate people on how to do it and do it well. So yes, they get on keto because their friends told them that it was working well for them. And then when they do it kind of haphazardly, it shouldn't be a surprise when you get haphazard results. All right, guys, that is it for this Jimmy Rants episode. I hope you enjoyed this defining failure on keto. And the bottom line on this one is failure has to be a mindset. You choose to fail, because most people who go on a ketogenic diet are wanting to succeed. You didn't start it to fail. You started it so you could get healthy. You started it so you could lose weight. You started it so you could get all the benefits that you've heard about with keto. And if you happen to not get those things, it might be time to examine some of the things we talked about in this video here today and redefine now what failure means. Because if you give it a go for 60 days and you're testing for ketosis and you're eating mostly real whole foods and you've read Keto Clarity and you understand all the basic concepts of this, and maybe you've listened to some podcasts, maybe you've gone to some conferences like the one I just went to, all of these things, and you're still not seeing results, okay, maybe at that point you could say it's not working for you, and maybe you move on to something else, okay? So if that's you, that's rare. I've very rarely heard people that have gotten into ketosis and test for it and eat mostly real whole foods and have educated themselves and are in this community and learning constantly. I very rarely hear people say they failed. So when I hear that, all my BS markers go off in my head that say, okay, slow your roll. How long have you done this? What's your ketone levels? What books have you read? What resources are you using to learn about keto? These are all important questions. So if you hear that from people in your world, remind them about all these questions, and then you'll know whether keto failed or whether their halfway version of keto failed. Failure is from not studying and researching. Bullock, yes, you are right. For sure, people need to learn and continue to learn. I mean, guys, I've been doing this a very long time, and I still learn brand new things all the time. There is no graduating from the school of keto. You will constantly be learning brand new things, and not everything is relevant to you, by the way. but it's good information to have out there. And then you pick and choose and pull the things that help you in your individual health journey. Love your rants. Thank you for taking the time to do these for us. Thank you. All right, I'm going to pop off of here, guys. Thanks so much. I land a little bit later this afternoon get home, basically. And so I might do another one late this afternoon if I'm not too tired. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you again with Jimmy Rants. Again, go to jimmyrants.com for all of these videos. If you're watching me live here on Instagram, thanks for being here. But if you're watching on the replay, check us out. You can listen and watch all the videos, the Jimmy Rants videos, at jimmyrants.com. And coming soon, we are going to have a daily podcast of the highlights of the best Jimmy Rants. So stay tuned for that, you guys, and we'll see you guys again real soon. Bye.